I believe I read that Louis XIV identified with Alexander the Great as he looked back in history.
Yes, he commissioned pictures of Alexander the Great, tapestries about him, because Alexander the Great was a hereditary king of Macedon after his father, and yet he conquered the world almost as far as India. So that was a real world model for Louis XIV, who saw himself as a world monarch. He was going to get Louisiana in America. He was going to get bits of Africa and run the slave trade. His missionaries said, oh, sire, you should conquer Thailand for the church and for France, China for the church and for France. There was even a scheme to divide the Ottoman Empire if it collapsed. And of course, always, like all French rulers, he's worried about Paris being close to the frontier. So he wants more territory in Belgium and the Rhineland. He really wanted the whole Rhineland for France.
Wow. And I think you also wrote that he identified himself as the Sun King with Apollo. What was that all about? What does that mean?
Well, it's quite traditional, like a lot of these things that Louis XIV did. In fact, previous kings of France had slightly identified with the Sun King. Lots of pharaohs and other monarchs identified with the sun, because the sun is everywhere and the sun warms everybody and reaches everybody. And he takes it as his emblem in 1662 at a grand tournament in the middle of Paris, the Carousel. And it's just trying to show he's better than other monarchs.